Any minute now. Sorry, it's delayed again. Right, I think we're working. Fingers crossed. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Real Surreal with Ed Borrie. We're going to try this for the first time ever. Live interview, broadcast, video share, and so on. What we're going to do, because it's like a gig and people come late, we're going to start with a little video. And after that, we're going to talk to Ed and have some discussions. And you'll be welcome to put some questions on the Facebook page. During the performance, during the video, I'm just going to check and see if things are working. If things aren't working,
this is the support
I'll
band.
let you know. So we're going to go just watch a video and we'll be right back. So thanks for coming up and enjoy this video because I think it's incredibly fantastic. Here we go. Hopefully it's that you'll recognize. Only it's going to share Facebook to start with. It isn't going to share the video. I carefully lined up. Here we go. This is one to watch.
Most governments, institutions, religions, weapons of war, and general stupid mistakes were made by a man. I was made by a woman. What's the smell you're wearing? It's just like blue to me. Is it the product of a perfumery designed by a pharmacist so that I just can't perceive? Integrity, money, necessity. My ambition is to get some recognition for my band and its ideals without caught a wheel within a wheel. Don't you dare test how it feels. I walked up to me and looked me in the eye. It was love 'cause I felt butterfly. I've got a confession to make. I can't give, I can only take. Love at first sight. Another place, another time. My position could be compromised. My bubbles inside. Your face is a living lesson. I feel effervescent. Your face is a living lesson. I feel effervescent. Your face is a living lesson. I hope in time I can learn to trust your discretion. I feel effervescent. I feel effervescent. I feel effervescent. Your face is a living lesson. Hope in time I can learn to trust your discretion. And I learned a very, very valuable lesson. Stations and her arms, stomach and there, where a commuter could pay for her to get out of bed. Once the judge comes all over her tits, she befriended me, she really cared. She said, babe, let's go get a cigarette. I know a man who sells singles over there, but he's not open yet. Integrity, money. Gotta understand the woman gave birth to the man. Paranoia, she's persecuted out his hands. I wasn't looking, but it came anyway. Now I'm totally shot away. I feel effervescent. I feel effervescent. I feel effervescent. I face a living lesson. Over time, I can learn to make it. After my time, whatever happens, it's a blessing. Trial, this is hell, you might as well burn me as well. Survive, it's what I can say for Radio 5.
Well, that was something, wasn't it? That was something else. That was fantastic, as people will probably know. I just have to stop something else happening, as obviously. Right. So welcome to repeat first ever online lockdown interview. If people who don't know, I'm Richard Rose, known as Rosie Repeat. I set up a fanzine in 1994, which was a long time ago. And I was inspired to do that by three things. One of them was the acerbic genius of the Manic Street Preachers at the time, 91, 92. The other thing was, second thing was being absolutely annoyed and furious about the way the world was run, racism and war and inequality and so on. And the third thing was the band that this next man headed up, Smash, who were a fantastic, political, angry, tuneful, inspiring rock and roll band. So it's my absolute pleasure to welcome Ed to the first ever repeat online interview, seeing as he did, I think, the second ever normal repeat one. Welcome, Ed. How are you doing?
Thank you, Richard. It's fantastic to be here and seeing that.
Bit closer to the mic, maybe.
Seeing those Naked City videos, just wow, man! I'm so excited. There's so much energy pouring out of the screen there.
Excellent. How are you coping with the lockdown at the moment?
I don't know. As an isolating musician, it's not a lot of difference for me. But I can't see my kids. They're in London and they're quite young, so there's some heartbreak, a lot of heartbreak, and so a lot of FaceTime.
Absolutely. Difficult times for everybody. We've got what were you up to musically then, just before this lockdown happened? I know that you were doing stuff. I saw pictures of you in the studio. Can you tell us a bit about what you've been doing recently?
Yes, so I've been taking Thursdays off and going into the studio, into Mick Jones's studio in Acton, with primarily Gary McPherson who was in BAD2, and a guy called Mallet, who plays drums with the Rotten Hill Gang. And the three of us I was bringing songs, but we were fully collaborating on putting these songs together. But it being Mick's studio, Mick would come and play guitar or play some bass or keyboards, and it was just so exciting, so quick as well. The process was very, very quick.
Right. So you actually, what was it like meeting Mick Jones? Because about you, was a bit of a hero of mine.
He's a very, very humble man. He's playing guitar on one of my tracks, and I'm like, "Thanks, Mick," and he's like, "It's my pleasure."
So when are we going to get?
Man, I feel blessed.
When are we likely to get to hear anything that you've done together?
Well, soon. So we're recording on Logic Pro, so and we've recorded most of it. So but it's all very quick. It's very, very quick. So there's no edits done. It's just all down. So I'm asking for the files, and I'll start editing now, and hopefully by the end of the summer I'll have had at least four songs recorded at the bunker, ready to go.
Fantastic. So how does it feel to have been active in music for so many years? I mean, do you find it hard, or do songs come to you easily? Are you inspired to write all the time continually, or what?
A friend of mine, the heartbreak of making music. I don't really have an audience now. What I found out when when I went solo was that I wasn't the popular guy in the band. Rob and Sal were the popular people in the bands.
I'm not sure that's true.
It was a crashing down for the lead singer, a burst ego for the lead singer. But so I don't really have an audience, but I've been talking to friends and other musicians, and indeed we had a little thing last Friday chatting to people. And for me, I've been writing songs since I was 13, 14, and it's not like I can stop doing that.
Excellent. Well, that's the way it is, isn't it, to be driven. Saying you've got no audience, you've got an audience on Facebook. There's lots of comments popping up, people watching, comments from as far away as Los Angeles, around the world, Isle of Wight, and so on.
Michael Dominic in New York is watching. He made a couple of videos for us. He used to work for Gob TV, and they made the Shame video. Hi, Michael.
So I've got some questions. I've got some questions lined up, but if anybody's got any good questions, you're welcome to post them on the Facebook page. And if they're any good, I might ask them for you. If they're rubbish, I'm just going to discard them with a Johnny Rotten sneer. We're also going to try and put some Ed playing some music on as well. Zoom, which we're using to broadcast this, doesn't really like music. We experimented yesterday. We've done our best. It will be very DIY, very punk rock. So please bear with us. But as I'm holding the scissors and the Pritt Stick, Repeat Fanzine started as a mess of Pritt Stick, scissors, highlighter, and that's the way it's going to stay, actually. So do you want to play your first song now then, Ed?
Yeah, so this is the most finished song that I have that I've been recording in the bunker, and just it's not really, it's written. I wrote this for a girl to sing to me. It's another angry little song, and I've just sent the files to this fantastic young singer called Evie Wilson, and she's just sent me back the most amazing, beautiful vocals. So I'll do my best, but when this gets released, hopefully Evie will be singing it.
Well, as Ed gets set up, I do have to say that the audio quality isn't that fantastic here, thanks to Zoom's little audio limiters and compressors and things they have, because it's really meant for conferences and so on. So do bear with us. Right, I'm going to mute myself. And
this is called I Don't Know Why You're With Me. I don't know why you're with me. Is it for your silly songs? You're so cruel. Maybe next time you see me, maybe next time I'll belong in your world. Maybe next time you see. Maybe next time when you're wrong, you'll apologize. Maybe next time when you're gone, I won't miss you. Maybe next time when you dance, I could dance with you. I don't mind. Holding on to all the times when you gave me nothing. I don't know why you're with me. Is it for your silly song? You're so cruel. It's not always about you. as good as I thought I was. You're still muted, Richard.
Sorry, I muted myself. Can you hear me now? That people have missed out on all that discussion. Right. I just said a really good question and everybody missed it. Right, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Right, I knew I'd do that if I muted myself. Right, I was just saying how much I enjoyed your performance and explaining it was DIY and it was definitely good.
Haircuts, as most of us are.
Most people can't afford haircut. Well, can't get to haircuts at the moment, can they?
Hairdressers.
That's why I've got my hat on. Yes. So
in a field somewhere.
I was going to ask you, what would you say your greatest achievements in music are? And while you're answering, or as you finish your answer, I'm going to show some pictures of things that you've done, and you can maybe comment on them. But to start with, you could just answer the vague question: what greatest achievements in music?
Top of the Pops.
Mm-hmm.
And I, as a sort of legacy for, I think releasing a single called "Lady Love Your Cunt" has got to be, it's got to be right up there, I think. And thanks to Dave Boyd at High Rise Records, just nonchalantly not batting an eye.
Can you get a bit nearer the mic, maybe, because I find it a bit hard to hear. Yeah.
"Lady Love Your Cunt," yeah, man.
So I'm going to show you some pictures now to inspire your memories and inspire other people's as well. I can see that people are being inspired by what we're talking about.
Stuff in, Richard.
So here we go. Share screen. Here we go. Yeah, they are sending stuff in. Yes, I'll read them out at some point. Right, there's a picture. Any comments on this? Thanks to Kathy from Hall or Nothing for this picture. Who do you reckon?
That's Stephen Wells, and with his back to us is Martin Goodacre. Martin's amazing photographer. He famously took the Kurt Cobain picture. But at that time, Stephen Wells and Martin Goodacre were on tour with us in the back of the van, doing a toilet tour of the UK, and it was absolutely fantastic. And Stephen did lots of reporting back to the NME and coined the phrase Gary Lager, which we're very pleased about. Our tour manager at the time was called Gary. So
Kathy sent us that in. People don't know who Kathy St. Luce is. She's an incredible woman.
She's the boss.
She's the boss. She used to do the press for the Manic Street Preachers and Radiohead and Stone Roses and Smash. And she was the first person to take Repeat fanzine seriously inside, sending us free records, even free Smash records, which I never in my life dreamed that would happen. Here's another picture. What can you tell us about this?
So does it say on there who the photographer was? He was the Melody Maker's kind of stock photographer, but yeah, so he came to my bed sit in Welwyn Garden City. And
Tom Sheehan, is it?
Tom Sheehan, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's all right. There's my famous sequins t-shirt that I made all by myself.
I think it's great that you're massive and that Oasis are tiny and small.
Yeah.
So did he bring the baseball bat or did you have it in your closet?
Mine.
It's yours, right? You had that ready.
Handsanger in Welwyn Garden City. You needed a baseball bat and a guitar.
I still think it's great that you're bigger than REM as well. That's perfect. So, and there was a free Oasis and Blur poster with it. So there we go. Right. How do I get to the next picture? Oh, come on. Doesn't want me to get to the next picture. Here it is. Oh, this is the artwork for the first CD compilation that had the 2 early singles on it. Who did your artwork for you?
I know who did our artwork for us, but he's anonymous. Sudo did our artwork.
And did he carry, or he or she carry on after you signed to a bigger label?
He did carry on. He did almost all of our artwork, apart from the cover for Self-Abused,
right?
Which Rob did with our friend from Hatfield and photographer Alan Reck.
Excellent. Right, I don't know what pictures are coming up because they have sort of sorted themselves out into an order.
Look at that, Richard. Isn't that fantastic?
It is fantastic. Are we looking at the picture? Yes. Yeah. Right. What about this then?
Oh, fantastic! Yeah, I was. So that gun, I think that gun's an AK-47. That, as you say, Kathy St. Luce was our press and promotions lady at Hall or Nothing, and she organised this photo shoot and this interview, and she got the gun. And then I was reminiscing with Kathy the other day. I remembered that Kathy and myself were walking up Oxford Street, and she had an AK-47 in her handbag, and it was just, I'm not sure. I mean, you shouldn't have done it back then, but you definitely won't be able to do it now. So
that was single of the day because it was released one day and deleted the same day. What was the logic behind that?
We were trying to sell lots of records in one day.
And did it work?
We knew not much was going to happen. It did nudge the charts, and we were played on the official Radio 1 chart rundown. But the song was so heavily edited that, you know, it made a bit of a mockery of it all. Yes, but again, you would have noticed that the Naked City video you played first, they heavily edited Bang Bang Bang, which has got a verse about the Gibraltar Three who were killed, the IRA guys who were killed in Gibraltar.
Yeah. So they got blanked some of the sound out, did they?
They chopped the whole verse out.
Right. Who knows what's next? Oh, here we go. This is the press release in advance of the release of I Want to Kill Somebody.
Okay, good.
You're on a 70-date tour mission to turn this country round and kill some Tories.
Yeah. We didn't kill enough, obviously. We didn't get the seeds.
No, well, there we go. And the remixes that you did with it, how did you get those organised?
I think our manager and our record, Dave Boyd at the record label might have had a lot to do with that, with the Keith LeBlanc and the Gunshot. The Gunshot remix is fantastic. I really like that.
Yeah.
And the Billy Bragg reshuffle is actually, that's us doing it acoustically. Yeah. But doesn't it sound good, the Billy Bragg reshuffle?
It does sound good, yes. It does.
Wouldn't you like Billy Bragg to reshuffle?
Would like Billy Bragg to reshuffle. We'll come into Billy Bragg in a minute. This is probably when you played to the biggest crowd ever, even bigger than watching tonight. Whatever, people who are young won't know that 6 million people used to watch Top of the Pops or some huge number like that. And you got to play on it. What was it like doing that?
It was absolutely fantastic. Really, really brilliant. I hate to dispel the myth, but although it went out live on a Thursday, it's actually filmed on a Wednesday. and that week we were in Edinburgh on Tuesday, and we were in Glasgow, King Tut's on the Thursday. So we had a quick run down to London to BBC Studios to shoot Top of the Pops, and then we went back. And when it came out, we were playing at King Tut's Wawa Hut in Glasgow.
Excellent. So that must have been a mad time. What was it like to be Flavour of the Month? Because you were on the front of the Enemy and the Melody Maker on Top of the Pops. A big whirlwind of activity. What was that like? Was it a lot of pressure?
No, I don't think it was pressure. We were still ourselves. We were still, the three of us, still supporting each other. It was fantastic. It was absolutely fantastic. I loved it.
There's a picture of Salve. I put that in because he's got his Anti-Nazi League badge on.
Yeah.
Even Nazis Keep Out badge, which he had to take off the Top of the Pops, I noticed.
Homogenized by the media.
Yes. I don't know who took that picture. I wonder if it was my brother, actually. And this is a bit of a personal picture to me. Well, I took Thomas and Ollie, as in Dweeb, to see you in Bedford at a matinee, which didn't happen, but we stayed for the evening gig instead. And you made their day by meeting them. And they used to help me with the fanzine years ago when we first started it. And 20 years later, there you are with Ollie again, with the original picture in the background. So there you go. So that was,
I watched his band that night in Cambridge. They were fantastic.
They were fantastic. I think they're not going anymore, sadly. And there we go. Oh, here's another picture. That's one of my brother's photos. Phil Rowe's photo. It looks like you've got massively long.
It looks like a machine gun, man.
It does, doesn't it? Yes, that's in Edinburgh, Wilkie House, I think.
Okay.
And is that the end? Oh, there's one more. There's another picture from the same night with your wah-wah pedal. Yes. I hope people are enjoying looking at the old photos. If anybody wants me to email them the JPEGs, you can just repeat a line at the Facebook address. I don't know where I got this photo from, but that is a typical Smash gig, how I remember them.
Yeah. Yeah, that looks good. That looks really good.
Actually, that's quite an early one, would you think?
There's video footage of that in the documentary Flawed is Beautiful. Yeah. And
then this is one of your more recent triumphs. One of the proudest things that I've done as Repeat Records is re-release I Want to Kill Somebody 2014 with rewritten lyrics and so on. We did it on a lovely picture disc, and here it is. There are a few copies left. I'll put the link up when we finish. I can't get to them until the lockdown's over, but it's a double-sided picture disc with a rapper called Next Gen on the B side, or the other side. It's fantastic.
And we did a gig with Next Gen, didn't we?
You did do Next Gen. Yeah, I don't think he knew quite what had hit him. It was a bit different from what he was used to. He was the one that did the Andrew Lansley rap and got famous for that.
He was really fantastic, yeah.
He is fantastic. He's very talented. He is, yes. Right, I'm going to stop the share and put us back on the screen. So actually, we're gonna watch a video again in a minute. Actually, people asking lots of questions. I will try and build some time in it. We were sort of planning on doing this for an hour and finishing after an hour. There's more people joining all the time, which is great, and there's questions coming through, which I will scan through. What I think we'll do now. Well, I was going to ask you about the Anti-Nazi League gig. Actually, when I used to live in Cambridge, we took, I think it was 10 coaches to watch to an Anti-Nazi League gig in Brockwell Park in Brixton. Unfortunately, a BNP member had just been elected councillor, and there was a massive response to that. The Manics and the Levellers and Credit to the Nation played, and I think 140,000 possibly went to Brockwell Park. It was absolutely massive. We spent the whole day looking for you on your truck, and we couldn't find you. But I've got some pictures that are going to come up. Do you remember how you got to play that gig?
No.
You don't remember, right? Hang on, I'm going to share the screen. I shared this photo before, and it did evoke lots.
I imagine Kathy St. Luce sorted us out, or suggested that.
Here we go. There you are with Billy. I said Billy Bragg would come up again. There's Billy Bragg, and you on a truck. Loads of Anti-Nazi League lollipops. I couldn't, as I said, I couldn't find you. It was such a massive event. That is you in the far distance through the lollipops. Yeah, I don't know where that photo came from. And Salve's Head. It's Brixton Tube Station in the background.
What had just happened there, just before that?
Yeah.
The truck that we were on, we were playing Real Surreal.
Yeah.
And the truck stopped underneath the railway bridge.
Yeah.
And the train went over, and it was just, the roar of the train, Real Surreal.
Yeah.
It was a moment.
I wish
I know a few people were there. I can see them in the photos.
I wish there was more video of it, because the whole thing doesn't seem to have been recorded. The main stage or your truck. I suppose it's because we didn't have phones in those days. There you are again with Billy, looking very clean cut. Billy, not you.
Billy was teasing the cops. He was singing "Big Gay Heart."
Yeah.
Oh,
There we go, yourself with his lollipop.
miss yourself.
So, why did you think playing against racism was important then as now?
I mean, it's not as what? Why not? Why is there racism? I mean, you and I spoke about this before, and I don't really have an answer. I just don't know why it exists and why it exists again today.
It's alarming, isn't it, that it's still around, and that obviously Muslims are taking the brunt of it at the moment. Whenever there's a recession and shortages, it's easy to blame a minority. I was a bit appalled the other day. I talked to another supply teacher. I'm a supply teacher. I talked to a supply teacher who's of Chinese origin, and she said she's being racially abused in the classroom. Constant racist comments from parents and kids because she's got saying you've caused the virus and so on.
Yeah,
Just looking for a scapegoat, whereas in fact, you think who's helped it spread? Isn't it the government that hasn't tested people properly and hasn't provided the proper protective equipment for people?
yeah.
So if people are watching, this is an absolutely free event, but if you want to, at the top of your screen, top right, if I'm doing my hand in the right place, I don't know, there's a little link to where you can donate to Love Music Hate Racism, which is the modern version of Rock Against Racism. Obviously, Love Music Hate Racism gets most of our money from gigs, and they've all stopped at the moment. So if anybody can afford £1 or £2 to donate, there's a little link at the top of the video. That would be fantastic. What we're going to do now, I think, if Ed's all right with that, is we're going to play a more recent video, which is, do you want to tell us a little bit about art therapy? The video rather than the subject.
Art Therapy is on the last Smash album, the final Smash album. It opens the album, and it's about, just play it, Richard. It's not.
Right,
I mean,
I'm going to play it.
Complicated songs. It's it's autobiographical. They all are. You know everything about me.
So I'm going to play it. I'm going to mute us when I do it. Ewan, who's watching, telling me when I forget to unmute us. Can you remind me to unmute us?
Yeah. I'll do this.
So share screen. Share screen. It always takes me a second. I will get quicker at it, possibly. Share computer sound. I nearly forgot to share the sound. Here we go. Art therapy.
She said we can meet. I've got art therapy.
Excellent stuff. Hopefully we're not muted because I've got some questions. So we're going to hear Ed play live again in a minute, which will be better than having me carry on going like this. Oops, stop share. Right. Right. You may notice, so welcome everybody if you've just joined to the Repeat Fanzine interview with Ed Borrie from Smash. This is the first time we've done such a thing. And even though Repeat Records is a multinational industry making trillions of pounds a week, we can't afford any staff. So I'm touching all the buttons, and Ewan is kindly checking up on the sound. There's some questions come through, which I will try to not ignore all of them. I had a question though. You seem to inspire a wave of creativity then and now. For instance, lots of other bands sprung up around that time, fanzines, so on. The film that came out recently, I'm going to show some pictures of all those things now. Why? Any idea why you think that was?
I think it was the same as the punk movement made T-shirts, made music, made fanzines, made a racket. I think we did that as well. But I mean, we only made the music. That Petal Buzz, the magazine Petal Buzz, was, although I helped, it was mostly done by a guy called Matt Hill, who I texted him earlier and I asked him what his job is. And his job, he's associate publisher for 4 magazines, and he edits 2 of them. So, that's
good grounding, isn't it? Yes, quite a lot of people who started in fanzines have gone on to do professional jobs.
We also did some filming and some music with a guy. I won't tell you what his real name is, but he's gone on to be called Jaguar Skills.
Yeah.
He's also from Welling Garden City.
As we're looking at, sorry.
That'll be the Gibraltar 3 then.
As we're looking at pictures of Petal Buzz, a question has come in from Bones, who sadly for him lives in Cardiff. He asks, which is better, Repeat or Petal Buzz? I don't think you need to answer that unless you want to.
Petal Buzz has got... Petal Buzz has its place in time, but Repeat's lasted longer.
That's true. But very diplomatically answered. This is just some things that I found lying around on my computer.
Oh, great. Okay, so that's the Irish tour there.
With Caliphs, yes. But it also went to Bedford where I saw it. And it also went to Newport where I also saw it.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Anybody, as I said, who wants any of these copies of stuff? Here we go. What was this? Oh, I couldn't get these both the right way up. There's Petal Buzz.
Oh, great. There's some more tour dates.
Yeah, look at all that. January, February, Cambridge Boat Race. I was at that one. Welling Garden City. I think I went to that one. You obviously went to all of them.
That Welling Garden City gig, that would have been where we signed our deal with High Rise Records.
Excellent, right. You went to France in between. Somehow you got to Newcastle, then Cairns, and then Cambridge.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, I've got some lovely photos from that Cairns gig.
Yeah. What's next on this little? I don't know where I found these. The tour when you had Blessed Ethel supporting. That's just 4 dates.
What a great band.
Well, that's the time I went to Newport because there's my ticket down the bottom. At TJ's. £4.
At the Bristol Fleece, we went to see Elastica the night before or something, and we picked up our new guitar tech, Lightning Dave.
He was good, was he?
He was fantastic. Still friends.
Now, the reason I put this here is because you continue to inspire, because Repeat is still going 26 years later. And this film here that was made, it's an incredible story because Adam, who made it, I think he'd never used a camera before, but he was so inspired by what you did and these Animal Men did that he learned to use a camera and made a fantastic film, which you can now see for free on Amazon Prime. So if you're locked down and bored, I couldn't recommend anything better than to watch Flawed is Beautiful. What can you tell us about
Adam shot the video for Art Therapy as well.
Yeah.
It was Adam first got in touch with me when he was writing his book called Straight Out of Collumpton, which is a village in Exeter, I think. And he just asked for a little interview, little chat. And the book Straight Out of Columnton, as far as I could tell, was about him growing up, going to gigs, seeing Smash, seeing these Animal Men, seeing lots of other bands. And then a couple of years later, he, as you say, having never used a camera before, started making this amazing documentary. He's done such an amazing job.
So
it's a heartbreaker.
As mentioned, that is free for people who subscribe to Amazon Prime.
Heartbreaker free for those who subscribe to Amazon Prime.
So go and watch it, because if you're getting really frustrated being stuck indoors, that would be a good time to watch it. What are the best gigs you've ever played in, or been to, if you can tell us?
For the psychiatrists out there, I really liked being the support band. I really liked supporting the Ramones. I really liked supporting Smashing Pumpkins. I really liked supporting Carter at Brixton Academy. But as for the headline shows, I loved CBGB's. That was amazing. Also, there was a gig in Washington. I can't remember the venue. And we did a tour with the Cramps. That was amazing. Every night, seeing Lux and Poison Ivy doing their thing was just wow.
What gigs are you looking forward to playing or attending after this lockdown is over, assuming it ever does end?
The gig that that got cancelled was I was off to see the Keep Cats at the Grace in London. I don't know if you've heard of the Keep Cats.
Nope.
They're a very, very young band. They post on Instagram their kind of O-level results. That's how young they are, or whatever. Their 17th birthday, that sort of thing. But they are absolutely amazing.
Are they anything to do with Reading?
Yes, we played together in Reading.
I think Sid Abuse has something to do with them.
Yeah. So Sid did my first solo gig in Reading.
Yeah.
At the Arts Centre, and supporting with the Keep Cats and Harrowland, both amazing bands. And thanks, Sid, for doing that. And for anybody who's with sharp eyes, Sid is the guy who climbed on the stage during the Naked City
Excellent
invasion. Sid was first.
Would you like to play another song now? Because we're going to try and wrap up in about 15 minutes, but we've still got a lot of people watching, and I will try and go through the questions. While you're setting up, somebody asks about what you're doing with Mick Jones. Well, if you'll have to go back to the beginning of the video, which will be posted on Facebook, and it will be posted on YouTube, hopefully. He has answered that question back then, so sorry you've missed that. If you haven't seen Ed performing on the internet before, the quality is a bit up and down, but it's good enough for public. So whenever you're ready, off you go.
So this song is called Obscurity. It's on my solo album, and although I didn't know it was going to be a solo album at the time, I thought it was going to be a Smash album, and it's angry again. It's about growing up in Welwyn Garden City. It's about my relationship with my mother. This is all raw. This is not. It's crazy anyway, and it's also about Jackie Onassis, which is interesting that she's with us today, aren't you, Jackie O? Right, so this is called Obscurity.
Excellent.
And when I wrote it, it was more complicated than I'd imagined. Mother always wanted obscurity for me. Achieved it. Thinking that she was so many things. Daddy done schooled me across his knee. That was the 80s. That was a time of hurt and greed. Every other shop was a charity. The town was dead. The town was dead, and so were we. So were we. I never saw beneath your disguise. Live my life through Andy Warhol's eyes. Thought heroes would last forever, but they're gone. Where did you go, Jackie O? Where did you go? Just behind you. All I wanted to believe is that you would rescue me, rescue me. All I wanted to believe is that you would rescue me, rescue me. But you brought me to my knees, and that's no good for me, for me. All I wanted to believe is that you would rescue me, rescue. Mother always wanted obscurity for me. I think I've achieved it. I think I've achieved so many things. I've got my group and I love my friends. I call it success. I call it success. I never knew how hard you tried. Where it go till now? I didn't know. And it doesn't matter anyhow.
Nicely done.
Tell that was live.
Nicely done. Excellent. So people who've just joined us, thanks to people still watching. There's good crowd of people coming and going. We're talking to Ed Borrie about his current and his past musical triumphs, trying to keep you going through lockdown and so on. I've got a couple of questions, and we're going to hear another song. Then we're going to take audience questions, and then we're going to play a video to finish. Just so you know, we're not going to keep you here all night. Even though it's great to see a number of likes and comments and so on coming in on the Facebook feed. Here's a couple of maybe shorter questions. Are you still as driven as you were to be creative, and are you still as angry?
I absolutely.
Can you go a bit closer to the speaker again, please?
I'm absolutely furious at the moment, Richard. Just with this disgraceful government and this disgraceful state of affairs. You know, all the racism, all the corruption, all the lies. You know, it's all back. It's all worse than ever. And you know, people attacking both sides, the left and the right. Fortunately, there's a line in Kill Somebody that said, "Whoever's in power, I'll be the opposition." It's been a lifesaver for me.
So
I'm furious, Richard.
That's good. Well, I think anger is an energy, isn't it? Last Friday we had a little online get together, a little online tea party, and anybody's welcome. We're doing it again tomorrow at 5:30. Just to see the link on the Repeat Facebook page. You were really encouraging and gave lots of good advice for the young bands that were on that at that tea party. What advice would you give to young bands that are trying to break it?
Let me find. Well, it's kind of you to say that I was helpful. I
think you were really encouraging to them, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, my position would be, again, I've lost my notes. It needs labels.
I know we listened to a release by a band called DTT that you were nice about, the Tuck Phobie, and you also listened to Dom's band, whose name I always forget. If you're listening, Dom, can you send us in your band's name so I can give you a plug? You were very encouraging about both of them.
Yeah, but they were great songs. They were really great songs. And just, so, I mean, if like me, I mean, hopefully these guys are just writing songs. And then, you know, with Smash, we had lots of friends and lots of people who, like Matt, who made a fanzine, and Jaguar Skills, who was making videos, and you know, and they've gone on to do their own things. So I mean, the popular word now is networking, isn't it? And getting lots of friends. But just be passionate about your songs, and in the end, you know, you'll end up like me without an audience, but you're still going to have to write songs. So enjoy it.
Excellent. What about if you? I can see that Carwin actually from DDT is watching. So well done, Carwin. If you were going to, if hypothetically you were about to release a very a seditious anti-government single that was going to be on a lovely, horrible Tory blue flexi disco, what would your advice be for releasing a seditious single?
Get yourself in front of the enemy.
Excellent advice. Right, I hope we'll take notes of that. Watch this space. Right, who are your heroes? Musical, political, artistic?
Mick Jones, obviously, well, you know, obviously Mick Jones is from The Clash, but for me, it was Big Audio Dynamite. Big Audio Dynamite were the first band that I started seeing everywhere and like wherever I could. And Lou Reed prior to that, Keith Richards, but they're more kind of drug heroes than maybe they weren't as helpful as I thought they were. And I don't know, my only political hero at the moment is Jacinda Ardern, the New Zealand Prime Minister, who I just think is a fabulous, fabulous, courageous human being. And, you know, many leaders and politicians should witness how courageous she is.
Right, do you want to play your, thank you. Do you want to play your last song? And then we're going to have the questions that people have sent in, or some of them, only if they're any good. And then we'll let people go with a video. Thanks everyone for watching. It's great to see that this is the first time we've done this live. It is a bit, what's the word? Nerve-wracking, because when I write a fanzine, I write it on a page and cut it out and stick it in, or I type it onto the internet. Now everybody can see me and I have to think on my feet and I don't get to rewrite my questions, they just come out live. Ed, what are you going to play for us, please?
I'm going to play the song that it opened every set in one form or another. This is Revisited number 3.
Excellent.
And Revisited was, I never knew why Bob Dylan's album was called Revisited, Highway 61 Revisited or whatever, but that's where the Revisited came from. Plus many other complicated reasons. Microphone.
That sounded good. Let's keep going.
Back to where my friend died, not the scene of his ugly suicide, but to where he used to live, just to have him back. Anything I would give, it must have taken years for the pain inside. I could have helped him if I tried, I could have saved somebody's life, but suicide's not painless. This has happened to me before. A lot of my friends took a knocking at my door. All I wanted was company. I should have been pleased, but the friend they chose was me. Why am I so blind that I cannot see? Why am I so blind that I cannot see? When people leave, they need me. When I should have shown sensitivity. When I should have shown sensitivity. But suicide's not painless. Flowers by the road because a grieving heart says so. They know it's not time to let go, I know a story. My friend jumped off when he got to his morning story. So when I need you, please don't ignore me. I could have
Great, thank you. And thanks everybody who's stayed watching with us. I know the quality of the live music, technically wise, isn't that fantastic, but it's just have some live music when we're all locked away at the moment is brilliant. And right, I was going to finish in a few minutes. I'm just going to ask a few of these questions, maybe do them quick fire, and then say a few hellos. We've got quite a lot of hellos to read out. Question I've noticed: what is the picture behind you?
That's Jackie Onassis by Andy Warhol.
Excellent. What's your favourite Velvets track?
What Goes On? 10 minutes. I put that up on one of my things, and somebody wrote in and said the only problem with that song is that it ends.
And what are the questions? I'm trying to scan through everything and saying who. I'll tell you some people that are here. Andy Barding is here. D from All About D is here. Kathy is here. Paul Ansell is here.
Richard, do you remember?
Sorry?
D used to write a fancy.
I do. One of the first ones I watched. Les is here from Cambridge. Andy Barding, like I said. Steve Brown. Rob Gurney. I think I saw. Did I see Sid? No, I don't think I did see Sid.
Laurie Weinstein's here. Laurie. Laurie and I went to the Stanley Kubrick exhibition. Laurie's from New York, but we went to the Stanley Kubrick exhibition. That was weird, man.
I can't get back to the beginning of the comments. There's so many.
Shall I send in a comment, Richard?
You could do. Someone says Love Art Therapy. Brilliant album, brilliant song. Playing it so much. Somebody says hello, Dad. Me and Zoe are watching.
Oh, that's nice. Hi, Esme. Hi, Zoe.
You're looking cool and relaxed as always. And that's not me. That's you, obviously. Lots of people. You can read all these afterwards. Actually, how are the sessions with Mick Jones? I already talked about that. Andy Barding remembered seeing me and TJ's, and he's talked a bit about the Flyers. Les was at the Ramones gig that you played at. There's more pictures. I don't know how to get to the beginning of these because I don't want to lose it.
Newport TJ's would also be one of my best ever gigs. It was very early. It was early 1994.
Yeah.
You turn up and after your sound check, the promoter would walk you, the band, the rock stars would walk you round to his house, and you would have tea with his family. And he had young children. It seemed to be in like just their kitchen, and for pudding was pink custard and sponge. I mean, that's what I remember.
That must be a highlight. I mean, having that human touch, isn't it? Yes. There was something else. I did have another question. When are you going back to New York? Is a question here. When are you going back to New York?
That'd be nice.
When somebody can pay for it, I reckon.
There's a little Lana Del Rey sample in the Goodbye Welling Garden City album, and her line is going back to New York.
Akim is here from Germany as well.
Hi, Akim.
Yes, right. We'll stop in a minute. The video will stay on the Facebook page. When we go, I'm gonna put you a couple of links up on the screen now, actually, and then we're going to watch. I've got a finishing question to ask Ed at the end. If you ever read Repeat, you'll know what the question's going to be. However, first of all, there's this poster which I'm going to put up, which is about. It's got some links on it. I'm going to put this up when the video finishes. At the end, it's got the Smash Facebook, Ed's personal music's Facebook, but also some causes that we're both very keen on. Love Music Hate Racism, Stand Up to Racism, and Care for Calais. If you think you're having a hard time at the moment, imagine being a refugee in a refugee camp in Calais or anywhere else. Most of the NGOs have pulled out. A lot of the aid has dried up. People that still need to eat, if you can give £1 or £2 to Care for Calais at that web address, that would be fantastic. I know a lot of people are short of money at the moment because work's dried up and so on. Underneath that is the Repeat Tea Party, which quite a lot of people some people joined last week. It's a sort of interactive get together on Zoom. You have to download Zoom, which is free for phones or computers. And if you look at the Repeat Facebook page, all the details are there. Ed was there last week. I don't know whether he's coming this week. Just a little chat and to share some videos. It was a good mix of ages and so on. Right. Oh, also I saw on the messages about the Newport gig. Ewan, who's checking the sound for us at the moment in Cambridge. I think I went there with his mum when we were at NUT conference in Cardiff at the time. That's another connection. I don't know how many people have read Repeat, but we always used to finish with the question, what's best, chips or cream buns? So I can't break tradition. Ed, what is best, chips or cream buns?
Cream buns with strawberry jam.
Nice. So it would be nice to get back to some of those, wouldn't it? Right. Is there any final message you'd like to finish with before we prepare the final video? Yes. So tonight at 8 o'clock, you can cheer for the NHS. It's a bit hypocritical seeing Boris Johnson doing it in the past. I mean, I've got a poster that says cheer for the NHS, support the migrants and people from around the world that keep our NHS going. They're the backbone of it, and they're the people that Boris Johnson wants to get rid of. So I think if you're cheering for the NHS, you need to cheer for migrants, you need to cheer for protection for everybody who's working in it, and cheer for proper testing. That's the things that I think are important.
Yeah, I was very wary about that during the NHS, because I just feel like the Tories are getting off scot-free. Like, of course they're fantastic. Why are we cheering for them? Why don't you pay them?
Exactly. So if you're going to cheer for them, if you go to Stand Up to Racism website, the link will be on at the end. I think there's a little poster you can get.
I'm so angry at the moment, Richard. He's written everyone a letter. The posties are pretty busy at the moment. You know what I mean?
Imagine how many masks he could have bought with that £5 million as well.
What a colossal waste of money. And have you seen what Jacinda Ardern has done in New Zealand? So she's the New Zealand Prime Minister, and she set up a group of opposition MPs to monitor her reaction and the work she was doing for this crisis. Boris and Cummings have disbanded Parliament. It's disgraceful. No one's watching. No one's going to say, write us all a letter. What an absolute waste of money. And very disrespectful to the post.
It made me laugh the other day when you said about testing. You said, Prince Charles has been tested, but what good does he do? Why waste a test on him when he doesn't do anything useful? Right. Thank you very much for your time. Thanks, everyone, for coming. Don't forget the links, which I'll show at the end of the video. We're going to finish with the song that was on the front of that newspaper, which is I Want to Kill Somebody. For some reason, your original record label hasn't made it available on Spotify, which means the only version available is the Repeat Records version, which I was very proud to release with a video that my genius brother made. I think we're going to leave you with that. So thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Do join the tea party tomorrow if you want something to do at 5:30 and want to laugh and talk to some of the people that we've talked about today. Is that it? I think I've really enjoyed myself, and it's good to see so many people liking it and watching it. And you can always watch it again in your own leisure time, and maybe Ed will answer some of the questions that I've not been very good at suggesting. Right. Now, it would be great if I could have suddenly gone straight to the song, but of course I haven't queued it up properly. Here we go. Share screen, share computer sound. Am I getting good at this yet?
You are.
Not really. Hang on. Right, here we go. Thanks for everybody. Here we go. Oh, it's blank screen. Go for it.
Cut through every muscle and break every bone. I wanna chop their fucking heads off and stick them on a stake. That's the extent of my hate. It's not that I want them dead, it's just this world would be a better place if they never existed. I want to kill somebody. Oh efficient. Whoever's in power, I'll be the opposition. I want to kill somebody. Oh yeah. So I'm a hypocrite because I don't believe in capital punishment. But here's my paradoxical quip: the people who prescribe it are the people who should subscribe to it. It's not that I want them dead, it's just this world would be a better place if they'd never existed. I want to kill somebody. David Cameron and the other one, Boris Johnson, Theresa May, Dennis Machines, expensive claim, Miliband, Jeremy Hunt, rhyming slang. I want to kill somebody. I want to kill somebody. I want to kill somebody, don't you? I want to kill somebody. I want to kill somebody. I want to kill somebody. Right now.
We're still here.